Sure the hat's all good.
This shit's fire.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another Pin to Gas podcast, and this episode is brought to you by Bison. Listen, I have a question for everybody out there. Whether you're a track day junkie, a road racer, a street rider, why would you buy an off-the-rack suit when you get a full custom suit from Bison, tailor-made to fit you perfectly? Any colors, any style, any sponsorships you want, you can have it done. Chest protector, undersuit, and gloves, not an issue at all from Bison. They have hats, they got sweatshirts, they got hoodies. Let's say you want team shirts. That's not an issue neither. All from Bison. So again, don't buy an off-the-rack suit when you can join simply the most mega people in the industry, and their leather suits are awesome. Just look at Moto America. They're everywhere. So do yourself a favor. Use this discount code PIN2GAS 2024. Receive 10% off all your Bison merch. But yeah, so listen, what are you guys waiting for? Go join the herd. Let's go, right? So listen, everybody, this is a special podcast. I'm sitting down, and it's an absolute honor to have the legend himself, Jake Farnsworth, all the way from Australia with us right now. Jake, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to have a chat.
Me too, man. I've been looking forward ever since me and you first talked and made contact. It's an absolute honor, man. So listen, Jake, let's get into it, man. Tell me your journey, man. Like, how did it initially start for you at a young age on motorcycles?
Yeah, well, I think you've got to go a bit before I was even born. So my father, he raced, I guess, the Australian Championship of back in the day. I think it was ARRC. He raced 250 production bikes, which is like the Supersport 300 category of today, on an RGV 250 two-stroke. And he raced the single-cylinder championship. So that was on a CR500, what they call motard now. They called them chook chasers back then. So he actually won the Australian Championship in the single-cylinder class. And, he had a career for about 10 years in the early 90s to late 90s. And then he gave it away, injuries and family and other commitments. So when I was born, I was always into motorcycles, but they wouldn't let me. They thought, look, let's try and push him to a different route. We don't need all the injuries, all the big bills. And they tried to get me in the go-karts. So I went to go-karts and I enjoyed it. I was kind of good in the kart, but I was always asking, I want a bike, I want a bike, I want a bike. So I was in a go-kart from about the age of 6. And I pushed towards a bike for a few years there. And I think it was by the age of, 9, I got my first bike and just learning around a paddock. Actually, the funny thing, when I first hopped on a bike, I said to Dad, I don't need your help. I've got it fine. So I've taken off in the backyard. It was CRF 70. And I've taken off. And I needed to slow down, so I pulled the brake with the accelerator on, and I went straight into the shed that we had out the back. Tears, commotion. I'm never riding again. It's all over. It was over before it started, but no, I hopped back on. Had a handful of rides where I'm just learning at my grandparents' property, and then I think by the age of 12, we went dirt track racing on a KX65. So that's how that began. And then for about a decade there, I raced dirt track around the country. I won an Australian Championship, under 19s championship. I won a 85cc state championship, and just some national opens, some open meetings around the place. But it's been good. I think the dirt track background really does help with the road. I don't mind things getting a little crazy on the bike, I guess you could say.
Right.
But it's good. I really enjoyed that time. And I look back on it, right? Motorcycling or road racing has come a long way since then. We didn't have the Oceania Junior Cup and things like that I could have stepped into, because the ultimate goal was to go road racing. For me, anyway, that's what I wanted to do. But there was just no scope for that when I was 12 years old. There was no pathway to get into it. It's like you had to be 16 to do a track day, and then you begin your racing from there. And by the time I reached 16, I was really coming on song with my dirt track racing. So we just stuck to that pretty well until COVID. And in 2020, we went, all right, we want to, or late 2019, we decided we want to make the switch over to the Super Sport 300 class and the R3 Cup. So we got all that organized, and we get into 2020 and everything shuts down. So we only got a couple rounds of the Australian Superbike Championship in, a couple track days here and there when we could. But those 2 years on the 300, I did a fair bit of riding in terms of practice, but not a lot of actual racing. So being, in my early 20s, I went, ooh, we got to make that jump to the 600 at some stage. And that's when we did in 2022. We only did half of the season just because I was learning, and we didn't have 2 bikes at the time. And then we did, half of the 22 season, and here we are today, 23 season done, and we're contesting for the championship this year. So it's been a good progression. I'm happy with it, and you just got to continue to build forward.
Absolutely. It's a great story, man. Fast progression too, all the way up, right? Listen, you're right. There's nothing in this world that can replace dirt track. Not motocross, but flat track racing, right? Flat track racing teaches you everything there is: sliding the front, pushing the rear, sliding constantly, and that transitions to road racing perfectly. Motocross, man, I love motocross. It's such a great sport, right? It's so physical, but it's it's a high risk sport for road racers, in my opinion. Versus flat track. Flat track, you can. I guess flat track would be a higher speed, but you're low to the ground. You're constantly sliding. You're not doing triples. So the first time, Jake, I remember I went to a motocross track, a proper one. I was like, yeah, I got this. And I looked at the triple and I was like, yeah, no, I don't have this. They're absolutely not. I'm not doing that jump. No, I'm good. I'm going to sit here and watch. I'll do the little jump and the whoops, and I'm good. The guys that do that, they're just absolutely amazing.
The skill set and the control. And it's like you can look at a jump, I've got this. And you're up it, and it's the worst thing is when you're in midair and you're coming down, you're going to case it, and you're like, I haven't got this. This is going to hurt. Boom, you go over.
I hope I don't break nothing. Yeah.
I was getting into motocross a little bit. We had an indoor MX dome here. So you could rock up during the week. I'd go after work and just cut some laps. And I was getting quite good at it. I had a fair few accidents though, and it got to a point where I'm like, oh, I hurt my hand at one of the motocross tracks, and I'm like, I think I'll stick to flat track because if you come off on the flat track, you just spin out. I've never really hurt myself, so I probably hurt myself more in a 6-month period doing some motocross than I have, a decade in dirt track. So I think there's a lot of skills, and it's funny because you'd think on the road racing circuit, right, you want all wheels in line, that it wouldn't cross over, like dirt track wouldn't cross over because you're sliding everywhere. But that's the style nowadays. Wheels aren't in line. You're coming in on the entry, you're sliding, and you've got to be able to react to those front end tucks and hold a slide. And I think when you step onto a superbike, it's even more important because you've just got this beast under you that you've got to control, and it's going to slide. It's going to eventually slide, and that's the fast way around sometimes, especially on a fresh tire. So, no, it's good. I still try to get out on the dirt track whenever I can.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, Jake, dude, we got my man and the legend himself, Aiden Sneed. He races here in Moto America. He says, yo, what is up, Aiden? I can't wait to have him on the podcast. He's
awesome.
Dude, he's absolutely amazing, super talented and fast. And
what's he race? 6 Super Sport or
Aiden.
Yeah.
Aiden races I don't want to get it wrong. Super Sport, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Super Sport. He's proper. He's mega. I mean, every time I see him, he's just a hoot. He's such a good kid, and he's a legend, Jake. Absolute legend, just like you, right? And you're right. Controlling the side. So listen, flat track. Okay, so even sliding on a dirt bike, let's say at 20 miles an hour, when you're sliding the front and tucking the front, it's the same on if you're doing 120 miles an hour, right? But it's getting that feel and that reaction and knowing when it's going to go, or being right on that fine edge
Mm,
of it's going to go, or it's right there gripping, right?
yeah,
And that's the
it's the art, isn't it?
this is the art. This is the that fine line. And man, watching you guys slide. So let me ask you this: do you do supermoto too?
Yeah. So I've got a supermoto bike that I'll practice on, but yeah, I don't mind the supermoto. It's a bit different. Maybe mine's just the stock Husqvarna, but the setup is a bit different. It's like if I'm at a smaller track and I've got my R3 there and my supermoto, I'm riding my Yamaha R3 because the geometry on the supermoto bike just doesn't seem to be the same as obviously as an R3, but you get a lot of front end chatter. So I don't necessarily ride it to go fast. I ride it to adapt to different bikes. I could be at a moto school. We run an event on Tuesday nights at Eastern Creek Kart Track, and you can ride a small CC road bike. You can ride a motard, and then you can ride your mini motos too. So just jumping from the three and being able to adapt to them all is what I like. And it's like you don't necessarily have to be breaking lap records as long as you can adapt yourself as a rider.
Yeah, facts. And mini moto. So what mini moto bikes are you riding out there?
So we do have Ovales, but a couple of guys who work at moto school. I know Simone is involved a fair bit. Baldrini, shout out. They've got what they call Bucci motos or Bucci motos,
Yeah.
which is the equivalent to an Ovale. So they're kind enough to give me a ride every now and again, and it's a bit of fun. It's a bit of fun. Funny story on Tuesday night just been. There was a few guys riding them, and they have a mini motard as well. So I come over, go on this. So I rode it. I was like, oh, it's not too bad. They sabotaged me. They gave me the 160, the slowest one with the softest suspension. They're like, oh, we give this to the new guys. We're just trying to hamper you a little bit. God damn it.
You're like, thanks, guys. Yeah.
No,
That's and I heard of Bucci, and they are like the old valets, right? The equivalent, but aren't they just a little bit bigger, like physically size than the old valets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a little bit better for a full-grown adult.
Yeah, because the old valleys they are tiny. And then actually out here in Moto America, that we're gonna do a Honda Grom and a Kawasaki Z125 Cup, which I think is awesome, right? Who wouldn't want to race one of them? I mean, let's just be honest, slow, but yeah, you got what 5-8 horsepower, whatever they are. But that's honestly probably the most fun you're ever gonna have, because doing what you're doing, Jake, you get out there, you're putting your life on the line, you're going Jesus warp speed every time, right? But the amount of concentration you have to do that and achieve that, the physical fitness you got to be, versus racing a little Honda Grom or a little Z125, right? The speeds are a lot lower, but you're having so much fun because you're just banging bars. If you crash, you're doing 30 miles an hour, maybe, right?
Yeah, that's right. And I think you've got to have that sometimes. It can't always be serious. You need to have the times where you hop on a little bike and you're pinned everywhere. And there's sort of a skill set, right, to going fast on a smaller bike like that.
Absolutely, it is.
Braking zones reduce massively, a lot of corner speed, keeping the momentum. Yeah, there's a lot of fun things to learn and to extract from those smaller bikes.
I actually want to get me a Z125. I went to I just got back from Road America out there in Wisconsin, and my buddy brought two of them. And he let me ride one the whole weekend, and absolutely fell in love with that little thing. Like we took it out to lunch one day and there was a 45-mile-an-hour road. Man, I had that little thing doing like 65 miles an hour with me on it, right? I'm 205 pounds, and that thing's just digging it. I'm like, yes, let's go. It's good stuff.
I can't really say I've seen a Z125 here in Australia.
Oh,
I assume they sell them, but you see heaps of Groms. Like we get Groms come out to the go-kart tracks and things like that, but I didn't know that Kawasaki made one. So I guess we'll be seeing you in that little series next year in Moto America.
Hey, well, it's set up for kids, but so there's
Okay.
it's set up for kids, not adults. I wish they need to have one. How brilliant would that be, right?
Yeah.
125cc the max. You're either gonna have a Grom or a Z125 adult class. How fun! I mean,
Yeah,
how fun would that be?
They do that here in Australia. So when they run the FIA Movale series, they have a separate race for adults, right? So what's that? People over 16. So you get everyone having a go. So I think that's probably the best way to go about it. Be good to see it. Attracts more people because obviously a few people have those sorts of bikes, so it would make sense.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, I left rice on the stove real quick, and I smell it burning. Give me 1 second. I smell, yeah. Goofy.
He's not going to have a very good dinner, is he? He's going to have burnt rice. Can't really say I've ever had burnt rice, to be honest with you. So you have, so it was burnt rice. You're burning.
Listen. I had started it, so I don't feed my dog. I'll edit that part out where I was gone for a second. But I had a dog pass away recently, and they said he got diabetes, and they said a lot of it was from dog food, like store brand dog food you buy at the stores. So ever since then, I've been cooking my dog rice, brown rice, white rice, chicken, beef, carrots, vegetables, all that, and just making her dinner and breakfast every day. And I had put it on. I was like, yeah, we'll be on 15 minutes. And I was like, remember to take the rice off before you go live, right? Absolutely, totally forgot about it because we're having so much fun. And then I'm sitting in here and and I'm sitting here and I was like, I smell some shit, the rice. Hang on, I gotta go. I'll be right back. Yeah, so that's how that went down. But listen, we got Jason Grice. I hope I didn't say. He said, "Oh yeah, let's go, Jake."
Gricey. Hey, let's go.
Yeah, let's absolutely go. He says, "Go get the Benelli TNT." So I
okay. So going back on the subject of the mini bikes, we have. Well, there's a brand Benelli, which I assume I'm not sure where they're made, but they're like a cheaper option of a Grom. And Gricey, he's one of the coaches at Moto School. He's got ones, and he's slowly been modifying it, and he's been riding it at the kart track. And like we're talking, the forks are so soft, the rear shock's blown, and he's going around there. He's doing some pretty decent lap times. So
that's awesome.
We'll see. He needs slick tires. He needs to put some slicks on it, and you'll see a couple of seconds go off. Yeah,
right.
That's right.
Yeah, that's awesome. So speaking of the Benelli T, the TNT, we actually have them over here in America too.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Yep. I remember the Benelli come out with a Tornado bike back in the day. I think it was a 900 triple, if I remember correctly. Maybe Jason knows. Dude, that would be so much fun. So that's what I want to do is I want to get me a Z125 and take it to the kart tracks and just have a lot of fun with it, right? That's what it's about.
That's right. And like, do you guys have a lot of kart tracks over there, like training tracks in between races?
We do, to a point. Like VIR, which is like an hour and 20, they have a kart track, but the best place to go, and I say it all the time, is SFL Mini GP in South Florida. It's the best organization, Jake, here in America. Check this out, Jake. Let's say You have a little lad, he's 4 years old. You want to get him on a bike, get him on a track, get him racing, right? Dude, you can go straight down to SFL Mini GP, sign up, register and sign up, pay your little fee. You don't have to have nothing, even if you're an adult. You show up. They provide the bikes, the leathers, the boots, the gloves, the helmets, the whole nine, right? You get on it, you have fun. Let's say if you're 60 years old, you always wanted to drag a knee. SFL Mini GP, get out there. They'll put you on a Grom or a little CRF 100 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Fit you in a, you know, put some leathers on you and you're good. Like it's and then you have the option to rent bikes. So let's say your child's like, oh, I really don't like the whatever CRF 50. You know, I want to whatever. I want to try the TTR 125. I mean, that's kind of a big jump, but I'm just saying you can actually rent bikes from there. And try them out before you actually go out and buy either a new one or a secondhand one too as well. They have electric bikes, bro. I'm telling you, it's the best organization.
Yeah,
dude, Jake, I can't speak enough about SFL Mini GP. So I know you heard of Jillian Carrera, right? British Talent Cup.
Yep.
Dude, his dad runs it. That's where he come from.
Okay.
Avery Dreyer, that won the Junior Cup last year, 2023, and that's where he come from. That's where his sister Ella come from. Isaac Woodworth. Listen, the list goes on and on. The future of our sport here in America, they're coming straight out of SFL Mini GP. I'm not saying all of them, but there's a lot of them that's coming from SFL Mini GP, and it's just amazing, right? Did you guys have something like that out there?
Yeah. So we sort of got people running the Ovale series. So Wayne Maxwell, he's multiple time Australian champion. He's
absolute legend.
Right, he's been trying to build the sport, but you know, it's something that needs to be improved on, I think, because you look at Europe, right? They're riding on little tracks, cone drills every night. Like I had a mate who went over and just went, it's insanely cheap, and same sort of thing like you're talking about. Just turn up, here's your gear, here's a bike, and off you go. And you can do it every night. And I think the results speak for themselves, right? Look at all the Spanish and European kids are just on another level. So we need to get that more here in Australia. And it's great that someone like Moto School has been running these nights as well. Every week we can go out there on a kart track, and you can get out on the weekend as well. So yeah, it's something that I want to see more of, but it's just going to take time to build. And I think our riders are still pretty damn good, considering we don't get as much track time or practice as other countries do.
Jake, you guys are absolute legends. I mean, dude, the list goes on and on. Aaron Gober, Anthony Gober, Troy Corson. We had this conversation. Troy Hefrost, dude, Wayne Maxwell, right? Ollie. I mean, it just listen, you guys are absolute legends. And who don't love Australia? I love Australia. I love you guys' accent. I love your guys' energy, right? Because I'm an energy person. I love your guys' energy and the passion you guys have. I don't think the passion to me is the same across all boards around the world as far as road racing goes, from racers, right? And fans too as well. Some are not as vocal and some are more vocal, right? As far as the fans go. So yeah. Absolutely. And listen, we got Daniel Charlalou. I hope I didn't murder your last name. He says, Jake is such a great coach, improved my riding so much to prep for racing.
Thank you, Daniel. Now, Daniel's a great guy. He's known him for a few years, met him at the track. I actually saw him when he first began. He had a Ninja 400, and he just shot me a message like, what do I do to the bike? And from there, we just built a bit of a friendship, and yeah, he's been coming to the Moto School events, and I've been helping him out, trying to reduce that lap time. He's on a Yamaha R6, so step in the right direction. That's good. And yeah, thank you. I appreciate it, Daniel.
Yeah,
I'll see you at the circuit soon. We still have to have a ride. He bought a new R6, so I want to have a ride with him and see. He should improve on that, so it's going to be interesting to have a look. Yeah.
The new R6, they're nice bikes, you know. I mean, R6 has pretty much been the stable of 600 road racing since the R6 come out in 1999. When they come out with the first, you know, proper R6, it was, absolutely amazing. And since then, I mean, Yeah, Kawasaki's good, but Honda. I mean, here in America, man, nobody races a Honda CBR 600RR in Moto
Mhm.
America Super Sport. It's either the
Yeah.
Gixxer 750 and R6, a Ducati, and some Triumph 675s for
Yeah,
sure.
it's pretty well the same here. I think we have two riders on the CBR, but yeah, it's basically the R6 Cup, or we don't have the modern day Supersport rules, so we don't have the 750 or the Ducati. That'd be interesting. I watch a fair bit of Moto America, and it's not always you think that the Ducati would come out ahead. I actually rode a Bayless edition at Moto School, Bayless edition 959 the other week. And I went, man, this thing's close to a superbike. I was going through certain parts of the track, and I'm covering the rear brake because the front wheel's going to pop up and the front end's getting light, and there's so much torque out of the corners. I'm like, wouldn't mind that on the 600, a bit more torque. So I'm assuming that Moto America have like a restriction, or the 600 can do more work to the engine. I'm not sure, but
Absolutely what you said. So what they do is with the Gixxer 750, you got to buy a fly-by-wire whole system for it, right? And it does make so they keep all the horsepower basically the same. Ducati's dumbed down, obviously, with the electronics too as well.
yeah.
The 750 is, and then the R6 and the ZX6R, you're allowed to have some work done to it to bring it up to the horsepower level, and it levels it out. Even British Superbikes is the same way, right? In BSB they have the Ducati and the Triumphs and all that racing in the 600 Super Sport class too as well. So I like it, man. I like the change. It just, listen to me, when I hear the word Ducati 959 and GSXR 750, that's not a super sport. A super sport is 599cc, is 600. That's what it is, right? But that's the way our sport is changing. I mean, that's where it's going. It's a good thing. It's a good thing, and kind of like a negative in a way, right? I don't know over there, but you can't go out here and pretty much buy a new R6. They're going to stop importing the R1s. I mean, it's like, and MotoGP is going to 850. So who would not love, dude? Imagine Jake seeing a proper YZF 750R, OW09 or whatever it is they want to call it, full back in the glory days, right?
I think, I'm not a fan of the way things are going. It's like, it's going down the twins route, where it's a bigger capacity, but it's a V twin, and like great street bikes. Like you buy an R7 or a Ducati 959, like they're great on the street. Maybe 959 not so much because they're a pretty fast race bike. But it's like you can't beat that. Yeah, that 4-cylinder 600, and even with the rules right of MotoGP going down to 850, I'm a fan of less electronics. But then I believe at the high level, the highest level, they should be on a bike that's too fast or too hard to ride. But the rider's got to make the difference. The best rider's going to manage the power and find out ways mechanically that he can make it, not just go. I feel like if a rider's lacking a few percent, it can be made up in electronics. And yes, it does make the racing great, but more people are able to obtain that level. It's a good and bad thing, but I like just doing the things myself. Like when I hopped on my Yamaha R1 earlier this year, I just turned basically everything off and very low. I'm going to learn how to do it. And if I need, I'll just dial a couple of things in and go from there. But I was just on a standard ECU. So it's very limited what you can do anyway.
It is. And listen, I agree with you. And I talk about this, at least I say it all the time. I feel like, man, with the way electronics, it's like you hear John Hopkins and them in MotoGP. They said the hardest thing, even in BSB and I'm sure in ASBK and Moto America, the electronics are so advanced. You come back in and your engineer or your data guy will be like, dude, you're supposed to be at 60% throttle through this corner. And you're only at 30, and you're thinking to yourself, holy shit. Okay. He's like, dude, just pin it. Let the electronics take it. The electronics will do the rest, right? That's the biggest hurdle to get around that mindset, right? But it's a double-edged sword to me. I feel like it takes away a little bit of the natural ability
That's right.
of a rider to get the feel and to adjust his body position, adjust his riding style as the race goes on, the tires wear. You ride it completely different from the very beginning with a fuel tank, fuel load. Mid race, you're half right, so now it's absolutely mint, and then towards the end, it's not so good anymore because it's super light, it's super just finicky, and you got to adapt and change. Where the electronics, they're just like, okay, well, dumb it up, do this, do that, and it's like it's great. Don't get me wrong, I'm not talking trash about it.
Yeah, it's great for safety.
It's great for safety. Great way to put it. It's one thing I don't agree with, man, is like all these, especially MotoGP, Jake. You look at a MotoGP bike, bro, it's like, are we on a starship right now? Are we getting ready to go to space? Like, what is even going on? It's ridiculous, you know? And I'm glad they're actually going to get rid of the ride height and the launch control and all that, you know? Because just to be honest, if I had a launch control on my RC51, every stoplight I'm at, I'm bam, right? Yeah, straight up. Sorry, officer, you need to give this a try. Trust me. Jump on it yourself. Go hit the next stoplight. Yeah, best smile in the world. But listen, again, it's just where we are, right? So let's say, Jake, you coming from a 600, you go straight on a full-blown super bike. Now you got heaps and bounds of electronics on it, right? It's wrapping your mind around the whole thing. Yes, sitting down and learning what all the little cool squiggly lines and all this stuff mean, right? You're like, ooh, what's that mean? Ooh, what's that mean? It's
That's right. Even riding the bike itself, like you were saying, trusting and riding on or through the electronics and just going, it doesn't feel right. That's what I noticed on the R1 too, to such a lower level. Sometimes you open the gas to a certain point and you're like, it doesn't feel right, but the electronics then catch you and you go, oh, okay, no worries. And then you can have fun with it. So if I was riding with my dad earlier this year. He was on my 600 and I went past him and I just cracked it, and I knew it was too much, and it just holds a perfect slide and off you go, just to, show off a little bit, right. Look at my skill.
Well, listen, Jake, is still skill involved in it, because you know what it feels like to get it properly sliding, right? And then the right amount of throttle to actually hold it, to actually just continue and make it do what you want to do, have fun with it, right? And dude, the electronics to me would be the biggest hurdle. So since we're talking about that, let me ask you this, Jake. How do you mentally prepare for a race weekend?
For me, like I've tried a lot over the last couple of years. For me, it's just not thinking about it too much, because I can think about it a lot and think about outcomes and what I want to do, and maybe set too high of expectation. For me, it's just very, in my mind, laid back. I'm very full on when I'm at the track. Like if I've got a plan, I set out a plan of what we want to do in each practice session. And of course that's flexible, right? Because things can happen. You might have a crash. But I just try to relax, and focus on my own performance goals and what I need to do, because you can start thinking about other riders, and FP1, you're sitting in 6 and you're like, I'm half a second off, or maybe even more, and you're going, oh no, just trust the process, build up, keep building. And I think in the past, potentially I come out of the gates really fast and then I plateau and there's not much scope. Whereas now I'm starting at a good point and I'm constantly building. Like the last round at Queensland Raceway, I got my first ever front row start. My races are always good, but I feel like I was chasing my tail, trying to find that pace. Everyone was just one step ahead in the past when it comes to practice and quali. And I get the qualifying, and even though I do a faster lap for me, it just, everyone else went that bit quicker. And we worked on a lot on ride days and just practicing, going through the process and trying to build for that qualifying. And it finally paid off. We got the front row start in Queensland Raceway, and we got faster every time we went on track. We got faster. So, that's, for me, getting ready for a race weekend is trying not to be stressed. Enjoy. You're there because you love it, and you love to go fast and you like to ride bikes. So why be stressed about it? Just enjoy it.
100%, man. I couldn't agree more. And so let me ask you this, Jake. Like, you're at the track, you're ready to go out. Do you have a certain thing you do, like left boot on before your right boot, anything like that? Like certain type of music you listen to while you stretch out? Your routine. Tell us your routine before you go out there and prepare for battle.
Yeah, so I'll get changed. Yeah, I go right boot, but it's right boot, right glove. That's sort of my thing. But yeah, I just like to do my stretches, dynamic stretches, get all the limbs warm, and honestly, I just like to sit down and just be in uh, my own little atmosphere there with my team. And yeah, I don't have anything special or crazy that I do. If I get a bit nervous, I'll just go for a little walk, get the blood flowing, do a bit of a warm up. Otherwise, I'm just fairly relaxed, which is contradictive to my nickname, right? Crazy Jake.
Yeah.
Leave the craziness for when I need it. But this year has been a big improvement, a big year for us, considering what happened in 2023. So just trying to always improve.
So let me ask you this: who come up with your nickname?
Yeah, so that's a good question. When I first started dirt track racing, I was doing a coaching clinic with Tony Garrard. So he was a speedway racer. I'm not really sure what time period, back in England. So he was running a coaching clinic. We were out there and it actually started to rain. So he's like, all right, no one's going out. I want to go out. I'm going out. Like I was on a 65. I was only new. I want to go out. I don't care if it's starting to rain. Get me out there. And he went, man, he's like, you're going to crash. I don't care. Get me out there. And he's like, man, they should call you Crazy Jake. You're crazy. You shouldn't go out there. I went out there and third corner, I crashed, but hey, I don't care what condition. And I still feel like that today. If it's bucketing down rain, if there's puddles on the track, let's get out there. I don't care. Rain, hail, or shine. Let's do it.
So do you like racing in the rain, riding in the rain?
Oh, I love it. Yeah. If ever it starts to rain, I'm like, oh, I want to go out. I want to go out. I love it so much. It's again, it's a different skill set.
Yep.
It's you've got to be very light on your inputs and knowing and trusting the tires. They work.
Yep.
Right. If you're out there on slicks, yes, it's not good.
It's not going to be a good day. Trust me.
Yeah,
Absolutely
right.
not.
It's going to be a long race if you're out there on slicks, but there's a skill set to it, and I like it. Every opportunity I get to ride in the rain, I definitely will. Yeah, for sure.
Love it. I like riding in the rain too. It's soothing. It teaches you a lot. It teaches.
That's a good word. Soothing. It's soothing.
It's soothing. It is. It teaches you so much about being very, very smooth, very light inputs, very light transitions left to right. You hold on to your bars light now. In the rain, you hold on them even lighter in the rain, right?
Yeah.
It almost seems like the lighter you hold them, the more feel you get. It's weird.
Yeah, because you're literally allowing the bars to move in your hands instead of going, no, you're going this way.
Yeah. We're going that way. Yeah, let's go, dude. This absolutely. So listen, before I get into the next question, there is something I have to say to everybody out there. The Central Road Racing Association is 54 years old, completely volunteer run club that calls Brainerd International Raceway home. Moto America will be competing at Brainerd June 14th through the 16th, and the CRA and Moto America are actively seeking volunteers to help staff corners during the weekend. This is your chance to get the best seats in the house for some of the best motorcycle racing in the USA. Please reach out to the CRA through their Facebook page for more information, and they can help you get set up. Do you guys have stuff like out there in ASBK like that, Jake?
Yeah, so I guess we have the Oceania Junior Cup, which is mostly for kids to come in. But otherwise, no.
So what I was just talking about is there are volunteers that come to the track, the corner marshal workers and all that. So if you corner marshal for AMA, you actually get they pay you and they feed you, and you get the best seats in the house because you're on the other side of the wall. You're up close and personal, right? When the bikes go down, those are the guys that run out there. You see them too. It always reminds me of a video game, right? Like an old school video game. They're like running out there like this, top speed. And listen, without them, we wouldn't be racing.
Yeah, that's 100%. Right. Racing stops. And we have a good amount of volunteers that they come around to all the circuits. It's great to see, and that all lovely people, like
they are.
It's unreal. So we do have a bit of a scene like that in ASBK, and you can't give them enough appreciation for what they do, and putting the time in that they do as well. So it's a positive thing. It's good to see. Yeah.
It is. So I try to, I want to help the sport grow as much as I can. They need help. I'm gonna shout them out, right? Like it's great. It's all classes through all our events in America, right? And so we're like you guys in Australia. You guys, it's such a big country. So is America, right? Meaning that it's cost so much money to travel around the whole state for racing. So let's say, Jake, me and you are in Florida. We want to go to California and we're driving. That's a 3-day drive, 2.5-day drive.
Yep.
And the cost of fuel and all that versus like British Superbikes in England, right? England, there's probably a 6-hour drive all the way across. So
wow.
Yeah, like 6, maybe 8. It's not that big, so it's cost effective to actually make all the rounds and go and grow, right? Versus like you guys in Australia. So how far is Phillip Island from you?
So I'm in Sydney. So Sydney's actually a good place to be because sort of a midpoint to all the circuits. It's like you've got Phillip Island down here. What is it? 10 hours or so. And then it's basically that again to Queensland. So it's a good midpoint. So it's about 10 hours away. It's not 2.5 days away.
Yeah, California. So California, it's like 3,000 miles.
Wow.
Right. So think about that. 2,800, 2,900 miles. I mean, that's driving, mate. Like just switching. Just stopping to use the bathroom. That's it. Slippery. You sleep, you get up. I sleep, you get up. We'll stop, gas up. That's really the only time you go to the bathroom. You bring food in there and just get to it. It's man. And I was reminded. So when I went to BSB, it's my favorite race organization in the world. The only reason why I say that, Jake, and I've said it a million times, is their super bikes don't race with no electronic assist on it. I mean, how brilliant is that, right? Yeah. Who don't love that? Like, come on, get on the program. And plus, another cool thing, unlike everybody else, it's free to watch live. Bennett'sBritishSuperbike.com. You can watch it live for free.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't
attract more people to be watching it, right? And
facts.
Like the spec of bike they ride too, isn't it like the previous year's World Superbike, some of those bikes?
They're absolutely 240 horsepower missiles.
It's without crazy. Electronics. That's where the best riders are going to be made, and the best riders are going to be up the front who can manage that beast of a bike with limited or no electronics. Yeah. That'd be cool to have
a go on one of them, huh? Yeah, let's go. That's what I'm saying. I got maced at racing in BSB, and it's absolutely amazing. I'm like, dude, you're such a legend. Like, I just can't wrap my mind around it. Man, good stuff, dude. So do you watch MotoGP or anything like that?
Yeah, of course. I watch all classes, and I watch World Superbike as well. And Moto America, I've been having a look in. It's good. Moto America posts all their stuff on YouTube pretty fast. So you'll be able to watch it all back and, having a look at the circuits and the riders. And I like it. Yeah. So I'm always watching something. You can ask anyone, what are you watching? Oh, just watching some races, It's same for you.
That's me. Absolutely.
Whole life is bikes. That's about it. Yeah.
I mean, look at my room, right? Absolutely. I watch everything. I watch the Macau. To me, the Isle of Man is my favorite every year. That is my favorite race over at MotoGP, over BSB is the TT, hands down, in the Northwest 200. Man, the TT is one of the most, I'm not going to say one of the most, is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your life. I mean, it's just mental, proper mega.
Yeah.
yeah, it's and then dude, Joey got
Yeah,
beat by Michael. Now he's the greatest of all time, right? And it's such a story that Jake, it's never going to happen again, and not in our
yeah,
lifetime.
yeah.
Think of a family just racing all through the TT. Then the uncle has the most wins, and then his nephew,
It
20
comes out
years later,
26,
26
years.
years. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And all-time greatest. It's
And you know what? You got to give it to him too, because like how many of his family members have passed from that? And the fact that he keeps going on. Wow. I mean, when's he going to stop? That's the real thing, but the real question. But that's awesome to see. Like it must be for him such an emotional achievement to with everything that's involved and such a prestigious event as well. You it can't be a normal dude, can you? Wow, to do that, that's massive respect. That is wow. It'd be cool to actually just have a bit of a cruise around there, like a road ride. That's about it though. Just have a look at it.
Yeah. I would love to do that. That would be proper, right? Just cruise around it like that. Yeah, it'd be good. So listen, Jake, I want to talk about your 2024 season. Let's talk about the 2024 season from the very beginning. I know it's how can us Americans watch ASBK? Because again, I watch it from YouTube because I don't. Is there actually format we can go to and watch it?
Yeah, so you can go to ASBK's website and they will have a live stream there, which I believe is free.
Like BSB.
Yeah. And they've got it on their Facebook as well. So you can go on their website or Facebook and they've got a live stream, but they'll only show you, I think, one race because then they've got it on television for the second races of all the events. So yeah, you can watch the first races and then after the event, Motorsports TV, I believe, upload it onto YouTube and they'll show all events, so all races. So that's the way to watch it, and just have a look at the calendar and the schedule on the website there, and you can plan it out around that.
You said Motorsport TV on YouTube?
Yeah.
All right. I'm just writing it down. Because like I said, I catch it on YouTube every once in a while. I always look it up. And you're right. It just shows little clips and little things. I'm like, dude, I want to see the whole race. I don't want to see a clip. I want to see from the riders on the grid to doing the interviews to the visors coming down to the go to the end. That's what I want to see. So listen, let's talk about 2024. Entering this season, did you have any expectations coming in versus 2023?
Yeah, so entering 2024 was interesting because over the summer from early December to late January we run, or I think early February, there's what they call a summer night series. So we race at Sydney Motorsport Park under lights, and we had a R1 that we had, so we sort of started putting that together and we went out there and raced that, and we're going fast. We're getting some really good results, and we're like, geez, should we be stepping up onto a superbike for this year? We weren't sure. But then we decided to stick to the 600. So, coming into this year, the mindset was very different compared to last year. I had a lot of good results in 2022. I had a good few results there. And I come into 2023 going, I can win this. I can do it. And the whole year was I had a lot of crashes. Some were my mistakes. We had a lot of bike failures, gearboxes, blippers. We had a shock blow. Like we just had we had a run of bad luck. And then when you make a mistake every now and again in there, it just all adds up. So it was hard. We left a lot of points, but what can you do? It was a good year to just learn, and it changed my mindset completely coming into this year. So this year, I know that I can win the title this year, but we come in just like I'm gonna go to every racetrack and I'm gonna go the best that I can do, and I'm gonna, and if I do the best that I can do, I know I'm going to be on the podium or fighting for a race win. And as long as I can do better than my last year's time, I'm happy. As long as I can do it, let's not focus on the championship until we're in the nitty gritty of it. And also coming to this year was interesting because I had a big accident. I high-sided the superbike, and I had a grade 2 tear to my AC joint. So coming into the season, that was like 3 weeks before race 1, or a month before race 1, I think it was. And it was heavy because I was in a lot of pain. So when we went into round 1, I was managing a bit, even in round 2. But yeah, it's getting there now. So the mindset had to be shifted to, you're injured, let's manage. And it actually helped me, instead of being so aggressive on the bike, just relax a little bit. So yeah, the mindset this year is, of course, win the championship, but it's also personal improvement as well.
And so let me ask you this: have you noticed a change in your speed and your riding? Just knowing exactly what you just said, just calm it down a little bit. And do you notice you're faster because of that? Because I guess you don't have that mental barrier of that everything that goes wrong, right? I think this is another reason. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It's hard for a rider when things are going bad and not correct, right? Just everything's just on the down, on the down, on the down. Mental wise, man, it just beat you up mentally. Even though you got a smile on the outside, on the inside, it's just tearing you up, right? Yeah. So going back to just calming it down, breaking through that mental barrier, and just being calm with yourself and happy and having fun again makes you absolutely a lot faster, because you're not focused on the negative side of it, right? You're focused on the positive side of it instead of the negatives all the time.
Yeah, and especially I think when you've got that mindset, you've got expectations of where you need to be. And when they're not met, regardless of how fast or how good you felt or how good you did, you're disappointed. Yep. And then that just snowballs into every session and then into the races, and it brings along that negative mindset. But being forced to calm down with the injury and focusing on other things and skills and becoming a better rider, instead of just having that aggression and that want come through, I've gotten faster, way faster, and safer. And I'm staying on the bike. I haven't crashed out due to my own doing in ASBK this year, so I'm happy.
That's absolutely amazing. And listen, for everybody listening, how many rounds are you into your race season this year, and how many rounds is there in ASBK for all the viewers and listeners?
So there's 7 rounds in total, and we've done 3 rounds so far. And there's 2 races a weekend, except Phillip Island, because we're at Phillip Island, we're in with World Superbike, so we get 3 races. So it's good. We're not even halfway through the season, so anything can still happen. It's good.
Let's go. Absolutely, dude. We got to talk about that. Phillip Island's one of my favorite racetracks. I mean, it's such a historical track. I mean, and they got the famous Lukey High Stoner Corner. Oh my God, dude! That
right. Have you been to Phillip Island?
No, I have not. On the PlayStation, absolutely on the PlayStation, but not in real life. No.
Oh man, yeah. You know what? When I first went to Phillip Island, I didn't like it, because I had ridden so many tight and technical circuits. You go there, and the track's pretty wide, so the sensation of speed, it's still pretty quick. Not gonna lie, and just the way you've got to take the corners, you back off. You go, oh yeah, I'm going to back off here, but then you're rolling into the corner, and you're going, oh, I could have backed off 100 meters later. Like, you've just got to wrap your head around that and getting the bike to steer. So there's a few things. When I first went there, I couldn't get the bike to steer because the setup was wrong. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I didn't really like it. It was quite low on the list. But now, every time I go there, I seem to do really well. So now it's quite high on the list. I mean, wow, what a circuit, right?
So Lukey Heights, coming up that let's see, you come down, you go hard right, it goes left, you go down a little straightaway, it kind of goes to the right, and then it goes uphill, and then it's a left, and you come down to that hard right. Yeah. How steep is that actual hill? Is it pretty steep? Because on TV it looks like it's steep.
It's proper steep. It is proper. When you're riding, you take it for granted. You don't notice how steep it is. But if you go walk the track, you go, wow, okay, this is proper deep. And I actually, one of the first times I went there, I had a crash down there. So I've come over Lukey Heights, and the rear's come around as I've reached the top, and it's flung me back over, and I went down the hill. I got thrown down the hill. And that's when I first learned, well, okay, this is steep. This is thank God for airbags, far out.
Right. That's awesome. Who can never forget Andre Annoni headbutting the seagull coming down Lukey Heights, right? That was absolutely amazing.
Pretty iconic,
Boom.
isn't it?
Absolutely. Dude, yeah, it's such an iconic track. Then I hear Easton Creek because, let's not forget Matt Mladen, absolute legend, Wayne Garner, dude, Remy Garner. The list goes on, right? It's Eastern Creek, right? That's a super fast track too, as well, is it not?
Yeah, Eastern Creek. So that's my home circuit. They call it Sydney Motorsport Park now, but it's Eastern Creek. It's a good circuit. I think it's got a mix of everything. You've got your fast sections, but you've also got your tight corners as well. It's one of those ones you sort of, being my home circuit, I didn't do too much time there because when I started in ASBK, it wasn't on the calendar. They took a break there for a period of time. So I went to tracks like Wakefield Park, which is a couple hours from Sydney here, but it was on the calendar. And that's very tight, technical, bumpy. So I spent most of my time there. So it wasn't until I did like state rounds here at Eastern Creek or a couple of ride days here and there that I rode it. So for me, I got to a certain time there and I just couldn't break it. I was like stuck on that time for days, like 2-3 days. I'm like, I can't break this time. I was like doing a 35 on the 600. I'm like, what's going on? I can't do it. Or a low 36. And then I just jumped a second. All of a sudden, jumped a second down to 34. And I know, that's nice. That's nice. But it was like my max was like 35.8 for so long, or flat 36. And then I made this massive jump randomly, I guess, out of repetition and trying to find time. So it's one of those circuits that you either go there and you really like it, or you go there and you don't, and you've got to work at it a little bit.
Yeah, that I can only imagine, right? It's same thing like you see Laguna Seca. Everybody talks Laguna Seca, right? The corkscrew, listen, it's steep. I've been there. It's super steep. It's like holy shit when you see it in real life, right? Yeah. But to me, the number one oh shit turn at Laguna Seca is turn one, Jake. Turn one is fifth gear, flat out on a super bike, left blind, so you can't even see over the corner, and that's the corner that separates the men from the boys at that certain track. Texas at Coda, you see it on TV, right? That turn one. When they come down that straight, turn one's like it's a proper hill. Yes, it's steep. Yeah. And then what you don't really get to see, you do see it some, but as it comes up and they throw it in hard left, it actually bottlenecks, so the track gets a little narrower, and then it widens it up as they flick it back down to the right, which is another proper steep.
The exit's like very
and you'll see it. They say, because they race Formula One there, right? So the issue, Formula One, dude, you're putting down at whatever up team guide millions of horsepower and 4 tires that is as wide as our house, right? Let's just be honest. It's so they've had to do a lot of revisions there at Coda. From my understanding, is where they laid the circuit out on the ground underneath it when it rains real hard, because Texas don't rain a lot, right? But when they get a lot of rain, the ground moves a lot. And when the ground shifts and moves, it actually causes the track to actually ripple and create bumps and stuff. And then they go back in there, and I don't know, it probably costs $1 billion bejesus dollars to get it repaved and all that stuff. So it's an awesome track. I went to it really is. So listen, I know you would love to come to Moto America, man. Let's make this happen. It would be an absolute honor to have you over here in Moto America.
Yeah. That's something, you know what, before, like when Moto America was on the rise again, right? A few years ago, Dad said to me, that would be, forget the whole Europe thing and paying your way in over there. Like that's I think Moto America is a good thing, and we've been following it throughout the years. And I think now I'm at a point in my riding career where I think it's good. I've gotten to a good level here, and I think it's time to move elsewhere. So I'm really interested in Moto America, to be honest. It's like these guys want to go to Europe and ASBK and things like that. No, you know what? I want to go to America. everything's bigger and better in America. Let's go.
Absolutely. Even our steaks are bigger and better in America, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely, dude. Listen, I'll do everything I can. Like I said, I'll go and I'll talk to some teams and see what I can do for you, man, for sure. Because it would be an absolute honor to have you over here.
Yeah, thank you. Because like I was saying to you, it's like, how do you go about it, right? Do you message people? Is it just word of mouth? Because I'm definitely keen. I want to get over there, and I want to be over there next year for sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
that's my goal.
Listen, I'll do everything on my end within my power to make it happen. Not power, but everything I can. Talk to everybody that I know to help you out along the way on your journey to succeed, right?
Thank you.
Because I want you're a mate of mine. I want you to, whatever level you envision in your head, whether it's MotoGP, World Superbike, Moto America champ, I want you to do it 8 times over, right? So, yeah, it's an absolute honor to be part of the journey. And I put the word mouth out. Absolutely, I will. 110%. Look, man, we got the legend himself, the mayor, dude, Simon. What is up? Yeah, that's my dude right there. He's awesome. I can't, man, dude. One day I'd love for all of us to meet in real life, right? It's awesome to have my friends on the podcast, such as yourself and Simone, and it just makes the circle full when you finally get to meet, right? Because I'm a big hugger, so when I see him, I'm like, what up, dude? This guy, bring it on in, yeah, absolutely amazing, dude. So
American next year, mate.
Dude, bro, absolutely right. And listen, you come to America, just like I told Simone, dude, you got a free place to stay at my house, 100%. You ain't got to pay nothing. You just show up. I'll feed you some American food, right? Yeah, it's good stuff, man. Good stuff. Listen, like you guys call it, we'll have a Barbie. Absolute perfect Barbie out here. We'll throw stuff on the grill. By the way, Americans, that's what they call the cooking out, right? On the barbecue, the barbecue grill, right? Yeah, I learned that from Jack Miller. The Barbie.
No, that's shrimp on the Barbie, mate.
Shrimp on the Barbie, mate. Right. So yeah, dude, this awesome. Absolute awesome. Jake, dude, this has been an absolute look. We're over an hour into this. It seems like we've been on
already.
Yes, dude. It goes by so fast. We have so much fun, right? And listen, you guys, yes, I burnt the rice. My house does not smell like burnt rice no more, which is good. It's hilarious. Listen, Simone says, "What's up, legends? Love you. Love this. Keep me entertained while looking after the kids this morning." Listen, Simone, you already know I love you too, mate. Absolutely, man. Can't wait to get you back on the podcast, man. Maybe you know what? Let's get you and Jake on one time together, man, and let's just have a lot of fun with it. We talk all things racing and MotoGP and ASBK, and all that good stuff. It'll be absolutely a lot of fun. And we can talk about, just everything. It'll be good times, man.
Anything and everything. We'll talk about
it. Like Simone says, yes, let's go. Let's do it. Good stuff, man. I love it. I love it, dude. So listen, for you guys don't know, man, it's 9 a.m., right? It's 9 a.m. where you are now, Jake?
That's right. Yep.
9 a.m. on a Saturday. It's Friday here in America, and it's Saturday for him, which is absolutely amazing. So we had Boris on from MotoPG. Have you ever heard their podcast?
I've heard of their podcast. Yeah, I know a mate who's quite into MotoPG. Yeah,
dude, they're absolutely dude. Fredo, Tugs, and Boris are just awesome. I had all 3 of them on my podcast, and we had Boris on. It was actually like 5 a.m. his time. And I didn't realize, because it was the first time I had somebody from Australia on. It was just a 16-hour difference. It's the whole. That's why when I'd rather talk to you on the phone, Jake, when we did this, I was like, dude, I'm just gonna call you, be like, look, it's 9 a.m. here. What time is it there? Like it's 2 o'clock in the morning Thursday. I was like, okay, listen, Simone says done. I'm in. Absolutely, bro.
All right,
we'll do it. We'll do it. We will. We'll figure it out. What I'll do is we'll do I'll send you guys a link to a video chat, and all 3 of us can sit down and we'll just come up with a date and time, and we'll make it go from there for sure, man. Absolutely. Yeah, dude. We have Simon Farnsworth watching.
Simon Farnsworth.
Yeah.
No, he's keeping an eye on me. That's what he's
that's your dad?
Yeah.
Dude, awesome. What an honor. So let me ask you about your number. How did you come up with your race number?
49. So I was born on the 4th and the 9th. The 4th day of September. So there we go.
9th month. There it is.
Yeah.
Good. When I first seen it, I was like, "Did you?"
Nah, did you copy me, mate?
I love it. I love it. He said, "Nah, did you?" Yeah, I love it, dude. So
I like that though. Like every time I see him go around on the track and he's on TV, I say to Dad, I'm like, "There I am. Look at me go. Oh well, aren't I?"
Yeah, look at me, Dad. I actually met him, dude. He's actually down there. He's a super cool guy.
Yeah.
It is, man. It's wonderful, man. Being MotoGP, I've never been to ASBK, man. I really want to come to Australia. So when I was coming back from England, I ran into a guy at the airport, Heathrow, and as soon as he opened his mouth, I was like, "Oh, you're from Australia, man!" And I started saying Anthony Gobert and all this stuff, right? He's like, "Yeah, I'm from down under all this," and I was like, "Dude, I love your accent." I was like, "How far is it a flight to Australia?" He's like, "Oh, mate, from America, 24 hours." I was like, "Holy shit!"
Oh, it's just a day, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a day, right? But yeah. Long flight, right? So put it in perspective, Jake, from me to Heathrow in the UK, it wasn't even an 8-hour flight there, and I think it was like an 8-hour flight back. So it wasn't, it's not that far. Yeah. From the United States. Because I'm in Virginia, so Washington, DC is 4 hours from me, 4 hours north from me. And that's our main international airport here in
okay. So it's a fair drive to get to the airport, but
no, that's just the main international ones. What I do is I got a little Roanoke Regional Airport right here. I just hump on there, and it's like a 45-minute flight to there, and then you just go wherever you're going from there. Spread your wings and fly, whatever country you're going to. Right? It's absolutely. So, what's your favorite track, Jake? Let me ask you that.
Ooh, okay. You know, I used to say that's my favorite track, but to be honest with you, I love almost every track I've ridden. But if I had to put it down to one, I'd probably say Wakefield Park in Goulburn, or it's called One Raceway now. That's probably my favorite. I did a lot of time there when I was learning on the 300, and then I did a bit of time there on the 600 as well. And unfortunately, it closed down due to noise restrictions and there's a few things there, but it's opening back up, and we're back there this year. So it's going to be interesting. It's a little bit different, but I'm excited. I'm definitely keen to get back out there to cut some laps. But that's probably my favorite track. That or our next circuit. Actually, I like all the tracks. I like all the circuits we go to because I'm not like one of these people who's just I'm a tight track rider or a big track rider. Ride anything.
I love it. I ride them all, baby.
Yeah, that's it. I
love it. So let me ask you, what's your favorite track like outside of Australia?
I like the look of Misano. Maybe even, Magello looks, I'd say Misano. Let's say Misano for now. It looks like it's got a nice mix of some technical sections, and you got that fast section out the back there. It'd be definitely pretty cool to have a ride around there for sure.
It would be. And you know what? I would love to let them switch it back around the other way, the original way, because it's ran backwards now because of Wayne Randall when he got his crash. So
I think I was watching a race the other week with my dad, and they were at Misano, and I was looking at it, and I'm like, is that backwards? Mm-hmm. It is backwards, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So instead of going out of that last straightaway and you flick it hard, fast right, and then stand it up a little bit and it goes right, and then it kind of tightens up. Imagine coming out where it's tightened up and now it winds up to the left, banging them, bah, bah, bah. That'd be good, man. I try to do it on PlayStation, but it won't let you do it. It's like, no, you can't go backwards.
And you know what? It's quite interesting, right? When you ride a track both ways. So when we do the Moto School Tuesday night kart tracks, we can run in both directions. And we actually flipped the other night, and it was like, okay, I do one lap time going the way we normally go. Can I replicate it? And I couldn't. But maybe I just haven't had enough time on it. But it changes the track completely. It becomes a different circuit.
Absolutely does.
I
Yeah,
like
it is. Everything, your braking marker's different. The way you approach corner, everything is completely different. Right?
lines. You're approaching a chicane in a different spot, leant over
Yeah.
already or straight up. Yeah, it's good.
Yep. You want your bike at a certain, to make, straighten it up. Yeah, all that good stuff. Listen, Jason has a question. He says, what's your favorite bike?
It's a very for bikes I've ridden. It's a hard contest between the R6 and the R1. R1, Yamaha R1. That's my favorite bike. I mean, it just when I hopped on it early this year, I was just blown away because I think the stigma around the super bike is that it's heavy and that the R6 is corner speed based, the R1 or super bikes in general are a bit more point and shoot, right? But I hopped on the R1 and just went, man, this thing corners, and the feedback from the chassis and the front end feel was just next level. It was like R6 corner speed on a super bike. It was unreal. So R1, I'd have to say. Yeah.
And not to mention, dude, they sound so good, right? Thanks to Valentino Rossi in 2004, because the cross playing crank, right? They've been, it totally changed the bike. Man, they look so good. To me, it's one of the most beautiful thousands out there is the R1. Man, it looks so good. And I'm a big Ducati man. Obviously, you see my Ducati tattoo and all that good stuff. Yeah. Look, I got a, here we go. There's my Ducati course tattoo. And then I got a Marco Simicelli tattoo right here.
Awesome. Yeah.
So, man,
they're nuts with Ducatis, though.
Huh?
They're nuts with Ducatis. I haven't ridden a V4R, but I've ridden the V4S. And I was riding the R1 at the time, and I popped on his bike, and the power delivery, it's so smooth in the mid, but then when you open it up, it's like a two-stroke. It hits power band and it just goes.
Yeah.
I was going Back to the Future down Eastern Creek Straight. It was, I don't know where I'm going.
That's awesome. Listen, they're jumping from this is how I say about bikes to bikes, Jake, right? Bikes are like women, beautiful women. They're all beautiful in their own way, right? So you're used to one bike, you know her intimately, you know her likes, her dislikes, the way to ride her, to way when the tires start wearing out on her, the way it feels, you know everything about her. Then you leave her and you get a brand new girlfriend, right? And she's just as beautiful and all this stuff. You get on it, and the same techniques you made your other woman happy don't work the same as your new woman, right? So now you got to figure out your new woman and what she likes and what she don't like. But to me, I think the R1 is, if I was going to buy 1,000 a road race, yeah, absolutely the R1, because to me it's the most balanced and agile.
Yeah, that's right. And it suits all riding styles almost.
Yes.
Like if you're a high corner speed or you like to point and shoot, it does it all.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe other manufacturers, you've got to ride them in a specific way. But for me, hopping off the R6 on the R1, I gelled straight away. But then going the other way, because I rode the R1 because we were doing the Summer Night Series, I rode it for a couple month period there, just rode that, didn't even ride the R6. And hopping back onto the R6, I kind of struggled a little bit, just because the feeling wasn't as good. The chassis, right, they haven't changed it in years, and the R1's obviously kept developing. So hop back on the R6, and like you were saying, right, you've got to, it likes doing this. The R1 likes that. R6, you've got to ride it like this. But again, it's just about adapting. And I learnt a lot from the R1 to try and bring some sort of setup over to the R6 to learn from it and try and mimic the feeling in some sort of way. I don't think we've gotten close, but it's not as good as the R1. No. If I could put the R1, if I could put the R6 engine in the R1, I'd be a happy man.
Because the chassis on both, they're completely different.
Yeah.
Swing arm, that rake, the geometry, yada yada yada, all that, dude. The swing arm pivot point to the chain, how tight and how loose you got, dude. It affects. Listen, it's so in depth. Yeah. People don't understand, like because if you got your chain too tight, right, it's not going to allow your rear shock to work properly because it's not going to go through its full stroke, and if you got it too loose, it can pop off, and it's especially when you start doing swing arm pivots and all that, right? It's
when you start adjusting, or even the steering head, right? If you've
rake and trail and all that, it's, to me, it's like mind blowing. I'm like, okay, let me just ride it, and I'll tell you what I feel. I'll come back and I'll tell you if I like it or not. Absolutely don't like it, change it, right?
Yeah, that's right. And almost it gets to a point where people, they have a setup, but then the next time they ride it, they've done something drastically different. I take this to every track. I like to have like a base setup, and I like to have that feeling. It's like, I know the bike feels like this. And then when we go to the circuit, it's minor changes, maybe geometry or a bit of damping. Yeah. But I like to have a bike. And I think Jorge Martin does a similar thing. He keeps a similar bike across the board, so he knows what to expect out of it. He knows what it likes and what it doesn't, and he knows how to ride it.
Facts, and the most important thing on a motorcycle is everybody in the game. I don't care if it's MotoGP, World Superbike, World Supersport, wherever you're at in the world, you're setting the bike up to the tires that you're on.
Yeah.
You're setting them up to the Pirelli. So what I'm saying is, Jake, the legend, sets his bike up for the Pirellis, and then we throw a set of Dunlops on his setup. Guess what? It's not going to work. Jake's going to go out there and be like, hold up, dude, my bike, I need to change this, I need to change that, all that.
I got no rear grip. What's going on?
right. And the front's good, but the rear is just da-da-da-da. So it's like, because the tires are different. You can take a Dunlop 120/70 and a Pirelli 120/70. One's going to be a taller profile, one's going to be more rounded. And when you take those, once you got to set up on a motorcycle for the Pirellis, you put Dunlops, Michelin, and Bridgestones on it. It actually changes the rake and the trail.
That's right.
Everything. It changes everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's massive. So it's like
you've got to difference.
Choose your tire, and that's the other thing, right? People want to try different tires, but as you're saying, if you run Pirelli and then you've put Dunlops on, and people will just go, it's no good. It's like you've got to persist, right? You've got to try and find a setup and then go, okay, I feel good. Am I going faster? Do I feel better? It takes time, and it's not a cheap exercise either, especially if you're on the superbike. Like, you're going through tires pretty well every session.
110%. Yeah, you are, right? Yeah, dude, absolutely. Listen, dude, we're coming up on an hour and 20 of this, Jake. This has been awesome. I love it. Thank you so much. I want to get into my favorite part of the interview. You guys stay tuned, because we got so much more to talk about, but we're going to do a part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. So you're going to see plenty of Jake on here. So no worries, right? So listen, Jake, I want to get in. Go ahead.
You won't have to miss me too much.
No, you won't. Him and Simone, we're gonna get them both on, and dude, it's gonna be an absolute proper time. So I'm gonna follow Jake his whole rest of the season in ASBK, and then at the end of the season, I have him. Well, I'm gonna have you on mid-season, which is almost mid-season now, but we'll get you on soon. And then at the end of the year, and then we'll do it all again at the beginning of the year. We'll talk about the Moto America and how you came to got here and all that good stuff. So hopefully, right. Sounds like the game plan. Let's go. I love it. So listen, I want to start off with this question.
Yeah.
Listen, Jake, if you had an island, your own personal island with your own house on it, what racetracks could it be on your island?
Damn. What racetrack's going to be on my island? Something. It's going to be Phillip Island, isn't it? Man.
I love it.
It's going to suit. I mean, it's going to suit that scenery, right? It's just going to plump right in, waterside. You can't, that in a superbike. The two mixed together, that's perfect.
Brilliant, man. Let me ask you this. Who's been your favorite teammate?
So I haven't had a teammate yet.
Okay.
Oh, well, I have. I've had one, but I haven't really had a teammate because we're family run. So
I love it.
I'm myself. So my favorite teammate is my team for sure.
I love it. So listen, for all those listening, who exactly is on your team and what positions do they play in your team?
Yeah, so I've got my dad, and I'd say he's crew chief, also probably main sponsor as well. Probably there. I got my mum, and my mum's a bit of like hospitality, making sure I'm okay, keeping visors clean so I can see. making sure I'm in tip-top shape. And then we've got new additions this year, Karis John and Kevin John. So father and daughter duo. And Karis makes me look good on the grid always. And she's very nice. She's always, cooking for us, making sure we're okay. And Kevin's mechanic as well. So he's helping out my dad. And again, they've just been such a great addition to the team this year. They're there and they're into it and they're keen and they want to win. So it's good to, I want to have people on the team who want to be there. And then this year I've had my uncle as well. So he comes along again. He's helping out with the spannering and tire changes, warmers. There's so many things to think about, right? On a race weekend, the more hands you can get, the better. So he's been great, and it's been great to have him there too. We work together as well. Dad, me and him, we all work together on a day-to-day basis. So we know how things are run and we know how each other acts and reacts to things. So that works perfect. And then we've had Damien Eckersley. He's a good friend of ours. He only lives down the road from me, actually. We do a lot of things together. We ride motorbikes. We cycle together. He's been coming out and again, just a hand around the pits. And, he used to race himself in the early 2000s on a RS 250 Aprilia. So, his insights of the circuits, because we still go to some of the circuits he used to race. So it's good to get his insights on it and a bit of the history as well. And we have also Ian Collier. He's been helping us out at select rounds, and he'll be coming back out for last round. Where was he? Eastern Creek. He was the bouncer at the door. Being the home round, there's a lot of people, right? And that's great. I love all the people being there to support me. I'm forever appreciative, but not 10 minutes before the race.
Yeah.
I just need to be in my zone.
Yeah.
So he was bouncer and again helping us out with tire pressures, etc. So yeah, that's sort of like the main team everywhere we go. So yeah, that's my team. Family.
I love it.
Yeah.
Nothing like it. That's the grassroots of racing, straight up. That's how it started, and from there you go out and be world champion everywhere else, right? It's like my mom always said, it takes a village to raise a child. It's the same way in road racing. It takes a village to raise a road racer, which means it takes a whole lot of everybody's input and helping. And look, Simon, you already know the answer to this. He says, who's your favorite crew chief? I love it, dude. I love it.
Yeah, honestly, we work so well together. Like, I think maybe because maybe some kids and their fathers, maybe they don't get along or they don't work well together. But for us, we get along really well, and he understands what I want from a bike too. Right. And at some stage, I'm probably going to have to develop this relationship with someone else down the line when I get a crew chief in a team. But he just knows. It's like he knows all the key aspects that I look for in a bike. And we always find something, when you make an adjustment before a race and it's like, it's a bit of a gamble. It always pays off. So it's a perfect teaming for the moment.
Love it. Yeah. I love it. It's good stuff, man. So let me ask you this. What's your worst habit?
My worst habit? It's actually something I'm trying to fix at the moment on the bike. So off the bike, I don't know. Maybe I like eating pizza sometimes.
That's not a worst habit. That's a good habit. What are you talking about?
Yeah. On the bike, my worst habit is in the braking zone. I have my head sitting weird, so I've been trying to, perfect it. So that's probably my worst habit at the moment, or maybe getting on the gas too abruptly. So there's a few habits there I got to change, but yeah, that's probably a couple of them.
Tell us something we don't know about you.
Something you don't know about me. Okay, so I've been doing, Brazilian jiu-jitsu and mixed martial arts training. So my dad was part of the first group to do it in Australia. when it come over from Brazil in the late 90s. It was actually one of the reasons he stopped racing. It was like, bikes, am I going to commit with bikes or am I going to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and mixed martial arts? So he chose that instead. Well, not unfortunately. But yeah, so I've been doing that since before my racing. So from the age of, really since I was born, he was getting me into it. And I won, I think, 7 national titles, 8 states, and 2 worlds. Wow. And I still do it to this day. So I got my black belt late last year. And yeah, I don't know if everyone knows about that, but yeah, it's something that, I don't really talk about it, right? I'm not one of those to boast it, but I like it, and I think it's been a pivotal part of my mindset towards racing too, and always looking to improve yourself, because in martial arts, the buck stops with you, right? It's what you do and how you perform. Bikes, there's more variables, right? Because you're on a machine, but I like to just focus on my own self and my performance.
I love it, and I love jiu-jitsu. I don't do it. One of my best friends here, he got into it, and he's been doing it for like 3 years now. He keeps telling me, "You got to get into it. You got to get into it." Yeah. I've really been debating it. Like I need something else, but I'm just so busy. It's. I know I'm making an excuse right now. I really am. With the podcast being full time, my job being full time, and my wife and my son. I'm sure I could slide an hour or 2 in there a week for sure to go to a jiu-jitsu class.
Yeah, and it's just finding out when, because it's like, what time is it there for you? 7, almost 7:30 or something like
that? Yeah, it's 7:30 p.m. now. Yeah, almost.
Yeah, and it's like you could be there now, but we're doing the podcast. But
right,
yeah, it's maybe a morning session somewhere, depending on the place, or yeah, but it's definitely worth it. It's good. It's good.
Absolutely, it is.
Because it's not, it's not like kickboxing or something where I do a bit of kickboxing, but it's not like you're going to get hit in the face. It's good for your body because you need to be flexible and just learning the mechanics of a body. It's good.
It is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree. I 110% agree. So let me ask you this, Jake. You could take any 3 people in the world to a track day. It could be Valentino Rossi. It could be a movie star. It could be whoever you want. What 3 people are you taking to a track day?
You've got some difficult questions. Valentino Rossi, Marc Marquez.
Oh, that'd be a good one, right?
Well, I'll have to deal with it. That's Mick Doohan. Oh, Casey Stoner. Sorry, Casey Stoner.
Yeah. Legend. Man, I miss Stoner. To me, Stoner had one of the most, if not to this day, I still say it, the most natural talent ability on a motorcycle that I've seen with my eyes.
Yeah.
The way Stoner would just literally, nobody does this before or since. He'll literally show up, go out there, set this ridiculous lap time within like 4 or 5 laps, and then come back and sit for like 40 minutes in the pit while everybody else is trying to play catch up, right? It's like, who does that?
Yeah. It's insane.
Who does that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
man.
the way he controlled a bike, right? Again, he would dial the electronics down so he could control it. So it's a different perspective, right? And he's all against the wings and all these devices, right? He's dead against it, and he makes it quite known that he is.
Yeah, I like it, dude. Listen, dude, I laugh because your dad said, "So I'm missing the track day." I love it, dude. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So let me ask you this, Jake. What's your favorite movie?
Rocky 3.
Good choice.
Yeah, I like all the Rocky movies. Maybe not number 5 as much, but I like all of the Rocky movies. But Rocky 3 is good because he's the champ, he's the guy, and then someone comes up and beats him, and he's got to rebuild again to get back to the level and defeat Clubber Lang. So that's for sure my favorite movie. I love watching it. Yeah.
Love it, man. Good stuff. Good stuff, man. So listen, I'm a big audiobook listener. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. Obviously, it's road racing, right? Let's just be honest. The last book I just got done listening to is The Ragged Edge by Stuart Baker. It's all about The Isle of Man TT. It's such a brilliant listen to. I highly recommend it. Another one, and I've said this 5 billion times, the best autobiography of any racer that I've read or listened to is John Hopkins.
Okay.
That book, Leathered, is absolutely amazing. It is I highly recommend both those books. So
Okay.
to you, Jake, do you listen to any audiobooks or read books at all?
No, so funny you say that. Maybe an audio book may be the way to go for me because, yeah, I find it hard to sit and read. I got to be up and doing something. And yeah, so yeah, I'll have a look. John Hopkins one. I know that Stoner has one that was quite good.
Yep.
And Rossi obviously has one too. But John Hopkins, yeah, I feel like he's got an interesting story. Yeah.
It'll blow you. You just wait, Jake. I'll send you the link, dude. So I get all my books on Apple. I got Apple
Okay.
everything, Apple
Yeah.
computer, all that crap, right? So
Yeah.
I go to the Apple bookstore and motorcycle races. Blah. I mean, I got every Guy Martin book, dude. John McGinnis, Joey Dunlop, Michael Dunlop, you name it.
Mhm.
They're all brilliant, right? But John
Yeah.
Hopkins, he puts everything out there. Everything. He's talking about smoking weed, Jake, and then jumping on the MotoGP bike, right? You won't hear, even if they did that, they're
You
not going to
wouldn't.
come on their autobiography and say that, right? Like, this is what I love about.
You did a pretty good job considering, eh?
Dude, I'm telling
Yeah.
you, right? It's that's what I love about the book. It's raw,
Mm.
it's genuine. There's
Yeah.
nothing left out,
Yeah.
and it's absolutely brilliant, man. Absolutely. And so I'm gonna ask you this question: what podcast do you listen to, if you listen to any?
Pin the gas, of course. No, seriously, yeah. Like I'm not a big podcast listener, but I listen to yours. I like it.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it, man. Thank you. It's an absolute honor, man. Thank you so much, man. So let me ask you this, Jake. Music. What kind of music are you into?
Yeah. Again, I like various amounts. I sort of like I like the Aussie rock, like your AC/DCs, Jimmy Barnes. I guess that's like something I was, again, brought up with, just listening to it when I'm younger. And when I listen to it now, I guess it just brings back memories.
It's
And
feel good.
yeah, that's right. And every time we work in the garage and we're working on the bikes, Dad's got an old CD player and he puts in, I think it's Cold Chisel, greatest hits. And it just goes through it. It goes through the whole list, right, several times. So yeah, good memories. So that's probably my favorite genre.
Yeah, that's awesome. I listen to all kinds of music, rock, country, rap, all that stuff, right? It all depends on what mood you're in. But I
That's
had
right, yeah, ultimately. Yeah.
I had a guest come on here and we was talking about music, and he's like, I call that dad music. And I was like, wait, hold up. What do you mean dad music, right? He's like, oh, the old rock and roll. I was like, dude, that's like the best music ever made. Pink
Yeah.
Floyd, Leonard Skinner, The Doors, all that stuff, right?
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely amazing music. So let me ask you this. Who's your favorite comedian?
Is it who's that? I've been watching I've been seeing a fair bit of. Is it Joe Avati? So he's like a Australian comedian. Yeah, you've probably seen him.
Yeah.
Because I'm a little bit. I'm like half Italian or predominantly Italian. It's funny to see that because of my grandparents. So he's probably the one I've been watching a little bit now. Joe Avati. He's pretty funny. He's got some good humor. Yeah.
He is. Go check him out on YouTube. Absolutely. He's has some stuff on there. It's freaking hilarious. All right, let me ask you this. Ask everybody, Star Wars or Star Trek?
I haven't watched either.
Okay, well, DC or Marvel?
Marvel.
What Marvel character would Jake be?
Spider-Man. I've always liked Spider-Man.
Spider-Man would be cool, wouldn't it? Spider-Man would be really cool. So let me ask you this, Jake. I know you're not old, but what advice would you give your younger self?
Okay. Work hard, train hard, but don't be so hard on yourself. But at the same point, I say that, but maybe that's the reason you work towards. Always search for better. Don't worry about anyone else. Just focus on yourself and what you can do and what you can achieve. Don't worry about external factors that you cannot control. And yeah, enjoy. Most of all, enjoy. Enjoy the nerves. Enjoy being where you're going to be, because it's not going to last forever. So have fun.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself, man. And live in the moment. A lot of people, we get so wrapped up day to day, so busy in life. It's something I say a lot on the podcast. Even when I meet people, I'm like, look, just take a moment every day, whether it's 30 seconds, 1 minute, right now as we're talking, right now on this podcast. Everybody that's listening, take 30 seconds or a minute and stop what you're doing and enjoy right now. Whatever time, whatever day you're in, enjoy it, because you'll never get it back. You can't stop it. You can't fast forward it. You can't rewind it. You can't pause it, right? Even when you're going through a hard time and a hard situation, I feel like if people would just stop every day and take a minute or two and just enjoy it, I think they'd be happier as human beings. I really do.
Yeah. And sometimes a bad situation isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just shows that you need to improve in some shape or another and try and look for that fix. Yeah.
100%. 100%. So, Jake, what do you do for your day job?
So I am a motorcycle and car mechanic. So it's fitting. Yeah. I work with my father and my uncle. We run a business in Carlingford near Parramatta in Sydney. And we do a bunch of cool stuff. Like, we've got heaps of bikes there. We rebuild carbies, engines, do suspension work, dyno, servicing, of course, and we work on the cars too, which is nice every now and again, right? Kingston Automotive, by the way.
Yeah, there it is.
Or Worth Race Developments. Search us up. Always happy for your motorcycling and car needs.
There you guys go. What are you waiting on? If you're near the Sydney area, go look them up. Yeah, be absolutely. So let me ask you this. What series are you watching on Netflix or Apple TV or any of that? And what do you recommend to people?
I'm watching nothing.
He's like, I'm watching reruns of the Isle of Man TT that just happened. That's what I'm watching.
Yeah, well, you know what? I haven't actually seen much of it. I saw an onboard lap with Hickman, but I definitely want to watch it probably this weekend. I'll start dabbling into it tonight, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not a big TV show or series watcher, to be honest. Like, rather be out training or working on the bike. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Man, so I don't, of course I got a wife, so we watch a lot of stuff together, not as often as we'd like to sit down and actually do it. But, and I find myself when if I'm really not into the show, of course, I got my phone set over here and the volume's on low, and I got reruns of road racing on. Absolutely. 100% fact. It's 100% true, yeah, that's so. But there are some, like my son just got home, so we like Star Wars a lot. So there's a new called the Acolyte, I think, Star Wars series that just come out. So me and him will watch like an episode or two tonight. Just something, we do spend time together. But other than that, man, it's flat out road racing. 24/7, 365, don't never stop. Even if I'm watching some on TV, it's in here. It's going around in here all the time, right? In my mind.
It's right. This rider, that bike, that track. And they started yet? Yeah.
Right. I got to check on my fantasy league. I got what's coming up, thinking about the next race, and if all that stuff. It's good stuff, man. Good stuff. So, are you into any other sports? Do you watch anything like football, basketball, soccer?
No, I'm not. I'm pretty. I've done some ball sports to a minor extent at like school and things like that. Let's just say it's not for me. I'm sure it could be if I put my mind to it, but just motorcycling, dirt track, motocross, road race. I don't mind some cycling. I'm getting into cycling a fair bit. I go cycling with a good couple of guys pushing me along. So I don't really watch cycling, but I'm into it at the moment. Yeah.
So do you do ice bass?
Yeah, I've actually got, so Damien, the guy I was telling you was in my team, he bought me a portable, one of those pods that you sit in. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit unmotivating this time of year here because it's winter. But either way, I'll hop in the ice bath or even just like a cold shower, which is, I think the cold shower is harder than the ice bath.
100%.
Because it's like you've got bits that are warm and then you're like, you've got to move into it. Once you're in the bath, you're completely submerged. There's no different. like, so yeah, I do like ice baths. It's good. It's like a complete reset.
Yeah, I love it. I do them as much as I can. And I remember when I first started, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna jump in this cold shower. Exactly what you said. It's fine. You turn that bitch ice cold. You stand there and you, and then once you get your breath under control, right? Once the breath's under control, you are absolutely. It's an amazing feeling, especially once you get out like 10, 15 minutes. Once you're done with it, it's like this certain buzz and energy you get. It's hard to explain unless you experience it, right? But in the shower, Jake, I'm sitting there. If you move this much and you barely even see me move, it starts all over again. You're like, holy shit, right? Like, this is crazy. Yeah.
You gotta get the front, the back, and you off.
So I'd rather just like you, I'd rather just jump in straight up, get it down to my neck and just control my breath, sit in there for 2 to 5 minutes, however long you see fit, and get out and get your day started, man. So absolutely, man. So let me ask you this. What's your spirit animal?
I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know what my spirit animal is. Is that's got to do with like your birth date, right, or something like that, isn't it?
I don't know. It'd be like whatever. Like your personality is kind of like a tiger.
Or, okay, so it's like what I
that.
What
yes.
Okay. Yes. I do like the tiger. I do like. This is like thinking on the spot right now.
Yeah.
Maybe like a lion or something. The lion is the king of the jungle, but he's calm until you provoke him. He's intelligent. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I had this conversation with a buddy of mine the other day. He's like, "Oh, a dog would whip a cat's butt and all this." I was like, "Look, you're right for the most part, but who's king of the jungle and what animal is it? It's a lion. And what is a lion? A cat. It's not a dog. It's a cat. It's a cat for a reason, right? Cats are kings of the jungle. Facts. Simone, yes, the mayor says steam room 15 minutes, 2-minute cold shower, 3 rounds of that.
Jeez, he's committed, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go. So when it snows out here and it's cold, I'll walk outside in my swim trunks out in the snow, barefoot, and lay down in the snow.
I was going to say to you,
2 minutes. Yeah. And then get up. My wife, she's always yelling at me. She's like, "Get your ass back in this house. What is wrong with you?" I'm like, "I love it. Let's go." Right.
Oh, that'd be so cool. See, it doesn't snow here. I've never been to the snow. I've never seen snow, like proper snow. So maybe next year I'll get to.
When you're in America next year, that's right. That's
it.
Absolutely.
So snow.
Let it snow, baby. Yes, let it snow. Let me ask you this: PlayStation or Xbox?
Xbox.
What's in the console right now?
MotoGP 23 or 20? Yeah, 23.
Nice. I got Ride 5. Ride 5. I've been playing Ride 5. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, Ride 5 is awesome.
Yeah.
It's like Gran Turismo of motorcycles. Plus, they got tracks from around the world.
Yeah. You've got
all over. Yeah. You want to race a Moto America track? No problem. We got them. You want to?
Is that on? They're on there.
Yeah, there's some of the tracks on there. Ride 5. I love it. It's a great game.
Okay.
Highly recommend. Let me ask you this: do you have any superstitions at all?
Nah, not really. No, not apart from just putting the right glove on and
I love it. Love it. Dude, this is awesome. They already asked. I was going to ask you your favorite bike, but they already answered that. You answered that question already. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, Jake?
In 5 years, I see myself definitely in Moto America for sure. Like for me, if I was in Moto America, would I really see the need to move elsewhere unless there was an offer? But Moto America is really where I want to be, and I just want to build on that. And it takes time, right, to learn the circuits.
Yeah.
And then once you go on whatever bike you go, and then you've got to build up the categories. So yeah, Moto America.
all the way. Let's go. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So look, you watch the TT. Like, are you big? You and your dad watch the TT like every year?
Yeah, you know what? Not as much as the circuit racing, but we do certainly dabble in it every now and again. And like I said, this year I actually want to have a look because I feel like every year the event's growing and growing, and it's getting more coverage, and it's great. So I'm going to have a look this weekend for sure.
Yeah, I sign up for the app every year. It's the TT Plus. It's $25 for all year. And not only does it show the TT, you can watch all the reruns, but they have like Between the Hedges, and there's other TV series that they have on there about the TT that's just absolutely brilliant. Highly recommended. 110%. Highly recommended. So let me ask you this, dude. Who's the most famous person you have in your cell phone?
Probably off the top of my head, Troy Corser.
Legend. Are you kidding me right now? Legend, dude. I would love to sit down and have a chat with Troy. He's actually got you can't see it because my door's closed, but when I open my bedroom door right here, this is my podcast room, but I keep a lot of my clothes in here. But you open up the door, I got a poster of Troy Corser on the Aprilia RSV Melee when he come in third, I think his first race. I've been a huge fan of the Crocodile for a long time, man. Absolutely. It's
yeah, he's a really great guy, down to earth, and can ride a motorcycle, that's for sure.
Facts. He is, dude. It's absolutely brilliant, man. Listen, this has been an absolute lot of fun. It's been an absolute honor to get on here. We're an hour and 47 minutes almost into this podcast. It goes by so quick, man. I love it. But listen, dude, it's great. So listen, Jake, before we get off here, give all your shout outs, how people can find you on social media and all that good stuff.
Yep. So we'll start with the social media. So Instagram is at Farnsworth49. My Facebook's Jake Farnsworth49. And just a shout out to all my sponsors: Moto School, Pirelli Tires, Kingston Automotive, Worth Race Developments, Yamaha, YRD. Just so appreciative for all their efforts and everyone who's involved with me this year, the team, everyone who's behind me. I appreciate it so much and want you all to know that I'm doing everything I can. My life is motorcycle racing, and I'm doing everything I can to my maximum ability to be on the top. So I thank you all very much, and my family who sacrifice a lot for me to be here. And my dad's potentially sacrificed his retirement for me. So thank you, Dad. And it'll be worth it in the end, I promise.
Absolutely, man. It's great, man. I love the whole. I would do the same for my kid, and you would do the same for yours too. It's
right.
It's something I tell people. It's like people that don't have kids, they don't understand it. It's like when you have a child and you hold him or her for your first time, there's a certain switch or something inside you that just flips, and you look at the world different. Everything's different. It really is. It's really hard to explain, but listen, you are your dad's everything, and if he didn't want to do it, he wouldn't be doing it. And he knows you're a legend. You're a legend, and you're going to get there, and you're going to win. You're going to win championships in Moto America and all that stuff. So, yes, let's go. But listen, but before we get off here and I end this, I got to give my shout outs to. First one, obviously, is Bison. Listen, guys, I'm serious. Don't buy off the rack shelf leather suit. Simply look up Bison, bison.com. Join the herd. Use the discount code PINTHEGAS 2024. Get 10% off all your merch. To all my UK friends, theclothingkings.co.uk. You guys can go on their website and order all your Pin the Gas merch, hats, sweatshirts, soft shell jackets, whatever you want. They are simply the most amazing people over there. Even if you don't live in the UK and you want to order anything, or you're a road racer and you're looking to get merch made for you, like you, Jake, personally, dude, they take care of it all. There's no stock to hold. They process the orders. They brand the clothing. They package, they label, they ship worldwide, and they pay you monthly. So this might be something you might be interested in right here. They do it all. They do it all for you. Big shout out to RD Racing and BSB, my man Jake Marsh. He has a club called Club 45. He's an up and coming legend, just like Jake right here. Please go support him. Club 45, Jake Marsh, RD Racing. You guys heard it here first. Don't miss it. Flying Eyes Optics. Listen, this is a new product that I've been trying out for the past week and a half. These sunglasses right here, right? I know a lot of people are like Oakley's, this and that, right? But you wear sunglasses underneath your helmet when you ride. A lot of people do it on the track days, right? I see it all the time.
Yeah.
But these sunglasses right here, check this out. These arms right here, right? They actually contour to your face. Okay. So when you have them on underneath your helmet, those arms don't put the pressure on the side of your head. Okay. And I wear them everywhere I go. And honestly, they're the lightest glasses I've ever put on my face. They weigh absolutely nothing. The lenses.
Look like a badass there.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it, dude. The lenses are absolutely amazing, man. They're so lightweight. And dude, listen, you guys just need to give them a try. If you was here right now or when I see you, don't forget, I'll have them on. I'll let you hold them, feel them, try them on, put them underneath your helmet, take off down the road. You let me know what you think about it. But please go check out the Flying Eyes Optics.com. You can use the discount code PINTHEGAS10 and get 10% off your sunglasses there. Huge shout out to Chef Eats. Listen, Chef Eats makes the most amazing food, not just for road racers, period. So Chef Eats, what he does, he makes all these high protein food. You want no salt in your food. He caters them to you. They come pre-packaged. Throw them in the microwave for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I get it. People are like, microwave food, really? It can't be that good. I've done HelloFresh. There's several other ones I've ordered, right? They're the same, right? They send them to you in the mail, saves you from going to the grocery store. But I'm here to tell you right now, Chef Eats is hands down the best I've ever had when it comes to that. 100%. He's involved in Moto America. He supports a lot of the up-and-coming racers and a lot of racers in the paddock. So if you guys get a chance to, go to chefeats.com, order you the most amazing meal. Don't take a bunch of food with you when you can simply pack your cooler full of Chef Eats and throw them in the microwave. Think about how much dishes you're saving and cleaning. You just throw it in the microwave. When you're done, throw it away. That's it. You're done. Simple. And it's good for you. Packed with protein. He's got fish, steak, asparagus, mashed potatoes, breakfast foods, desserts, everything you guys need. Go check them out. Big shout out to SFL Mini GP here in America, South Florida. Anybody wants to, we talked about this earlier on the podcast. Anybody interested in getting a racing or just riding, period, look no further than the SFL Mini GP. They're on all social media platforms. Look them up, register, and be prepared to have the most fun you're ever going to have in your life. Trust me, you will be back 100%. Last but not least, big shout out to my peoples at Vet2 Track. They're simply amazing. Jim Whitman, what he does, Jake, is we got a lot of veterans over here, and I'm sure you guys do too, right? But he has a program called Vet2 Track where he gets the guys that are vets and brings them in the paddock, and they get to be part of a team. They get to help mechanic, do tire warmers, get on a bike themselves and ride, right? Let's say you never thought you'd do it, right? But bringing them to this atmosphere, it's nothing but a loving atmosphere. It gets their mind off the daily day struggles, mental wise, right? And it makes them happier. It gives them something to look forward to. You wake up the next day, you're like, you know what? I had so much fun. I want to do it again. So big shout out to Vet2 Track. Yeah. It is simply amazing. But listen, guys, thank you guys so much. Everybody that watches and comments this live podcast, I love you guys. Sorry for the late delay. I had an issue when we first started on Facebook for some reason. So as we was talking at the beginning, you noticed I was looking up. I was messing with my computer. I had to like unhook it and reconnect it as we were going. But I appreciate you guys sticking around. If you guys have not, please do me the favor. Go to all my social media, go to my YouTube channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Absolutely helps me out a whole lot. And listen, it's been an absolute honor to have Jake Farnsworth, the absolute legend, on the podcast. You guys stay tuned for part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 and all that good stuff, because your man's going to be back. Absolutely it is. So, Jake, is there anything else you'd like to say to everybody before we get off here?
Thank you for watching, and I'm sure I'll see you at the circuits soon. And hopefully see some of you guys in Moto America next year on circuit. I'm looking forward to it. And thank you for having me, Chris. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to our next one. And
absolutely
be in contact.
Dude, You messed up. I got your number now, so it's on and popping. So yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, it's on and popping. You're like, mate, it's like 3 a.m. Oh shit, I forgot. Right, just hit me up when you get up. Yeah, no, but listen, guys, seriously, thank you guys so much. I love all you guys. It's been an absolute honor to be able to do this. Because if you had told me 3 years ago I'd be podcasting, I'd been like, yeah, okay, that's not me, but obviously it is. So here I am. But no, seriously,
you're natural.
I appreciate it, man. I do. Thank you. It's an absolute honor. Thank you guys so much. I love every single one of you, guys and girls, everybody. Go watch some road racing, smile, have fun, and do me a favor. Keep this mindset. None of us are strangers. We're just friends that haven't met yet.
That's right.
Absolutely. So listen, I got another podcast tomorrow, and yeah, life is good. I love you guys. All right, Jake. All right, let me end this. Thank you guys so much.